The Airbus A380, the world's largest passenger airliner, has been a symbol of luxury and comfort for more than a decade. However, the COVID-19 pandemic and the ongoing economic challenges in the aviation industry have resulted in a significant reduction in A380 flights. Among the few airlines still operating this iconic aircraft is Lufthansa, which has been offering A380 flights on select routes. In this video, we'll be discussing the latest news on Lufthansa's A380 route network. So in this video, we're going to talk about the big A380 news. The video is going to be amazing, so make sure you stick to the end. Lufthansa, the German flag carrier, has been operating the A380 since 2010. The airline has been using the aircraft to connect some of its busiest routes, including Frankfurt to New York, JFK, San Francisco, and Johannesburg. The A380 has been popular with travelers due to its spacious cabin, luxurious amenities, and advanced technology. However, the COVID-19 pandemic has significantly impacted air travel, and Lufthansa was forced to ground its A380 fleet in 2020. The Airbus A380 and the Boeing 747, these two aircraft have been the icons of long-haul aviation for decades, but in recent years they've faced challenges due to the rise of more fuel-efficient aircraft. In this video, we'll be discussing the latest news about the routes and networks for the A380 and B747 in 2023, and where you can still fly on these legendary aircraft. This iconic aircraft has been the flagship of long-haul aviation for over a decade, but in recent years it has faced challenges due to its high operating costs and COVID-19 pandemic. Despite the challenges faced by the A380, Lufthansa is still operating this iconic aircraft on some of its long-haul routes. In fact, the airline has recently announced that it will be resuming A380 flights to several destinations. Before we move on, support us by hitting subscribe and the bell icon to get notified when we post new videos. Now let's get back to our topic. Starting in May 2023, Lufthansa will resume A380 flights to Miami, Florida. The airline will also increase the frequency of its A380 flights to Los Angeles, California from 3 to 5 times a week. These route announcements come after Lufthansa temporarily grounded its A380 fleet in 2020 due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, with travel demand starting to recover, the airline is now resuming some of its A380 services. It's worth noting that Lufthansa has also faced challenges with its A380 fleet. In 2020, the airline announced plans to retire 6 of its 14 A380s due to the high operating cost of the aircraft. However, the airline has not yet provided any updates on these retirement plans. In conclusion, despite the challenges faced by the A380, Lufthansa is still operating this iconic aircraft on some of its long-haul routes. With a resumption of A380 flights to Miami and the increased frequency of A380 flights to Los Angeles, the airline is demonstrating its commitment to the A380, at least for the time being. However, with the rise of more fuel-efficient and cost-effective aircraft, it remains to be seen how much longer the A380 will continue to fly. Thank you for watching. Let's start with the Airbus A380. Despite the challenges faced by this aircraft, several airlines are still operating the A380 on various routes. Emirates, which is the largest operator of the A380, has recently resumed A380 flights to several destinations. However, some airlines have retired their A380 fleets due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. For example, Air France has retired its entire A380 fleet, and Lufthansa has also announced plans to retire some of its A380s. Now let's move on to the Boeing 747. This iconic aircraft has been in service for over 50 years, but its popularity has declined in recent years due to the rise of more fuel-efficient aircraft. However, several airlines are still operating the B747 on various routes. British Airways, which is the largest operator of the B747, is still operating the aircraft on some routes, including New York and Johannesburg. Other airlines that are still operating the B747 include KLM, Air China, and Korean Air. However, like the A380, some airlines have retired their B747 fleets due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. For example, Qantas has retired its entire B747 fleet, and Delta Airlines has also retired its B747s.